Hello friends, thank you for joining me today. I hope that I'm able to fix the really yellow lighting in post. It is overcast, and because it gets dark so early, the daylight is gone before mid-afternoon even hits. So hopefully I'm able to fix the horrible yellow lighting that I'm seeing right now, and hopefully it's not so gross to look at. So this is going to be my November monthly wrap-up. It's been a pretty good month. I made it through some kind of chunkier books. The Goodreads Choice Awards just recently wrapped up, and that kind of segues into the first thing that I read right now. It won Romantasy of the Year, which I believe is a new category for Goodreads, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I am very fortunate. I have the first edition with the sprayed edges. I picked it up at Costco like in the first month or two that it came out, so lucky me. So if you don't know what Fourth Wing is about, it's about a girl named Violet who attends this military college and was trained to become a scribe. That's what she wanted to do, but she's forced to enter the writer's quadrant, where she has to survive and prove her worth in order to bond to a dragon and help protect her kingdom. And this was pretty on par with what I expected from it. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. The dragons were pretty cool, but the romance for me was super cringy and honestly nonsensical. Violet falls for a guy who literally wants to murder her as soon as he sees her. Not figuratively, he literally wants to end her life. But, you know, damn if he isn't the sexiest motherfucker she's ever seen. There were some things about the world that just didn't make sense when you really think about it. Some of the dialogue was cringy, and I've read way worse books than this, but this wasn't anything extraordinary. I like that it's a romantasy that isn't focused on fae. So that's refreshing. I know that there's so much romantasy out there, and that community loves fae. So that's refreshing, but this is very much in line with, I think, lots of other types of the genre out there, and I don't think I'm going to continue this series, but I'm glad that I got to see what the hype was about, and I just love dragons, so I think even though I'm not going to continue this series, I'm probably going to keep this because it's very pretty, and I have the first edition with the very pretty sprayed edges, and you can't see it because I usually stand in front of it, but this has been sitting here pages out, so you can see the sprayed edges. So it will stay on my bookshelf, but I'm not going to continue the series. Wanderers by Chuck Wendig and narrated by Exie Sands and Dominic Hoffman. This is a dystopian sci-fi, and it opens with a girl whose sister starts sleepwalking out of nowhere and never stops, can't be woken up, and she just starts walking towards some unknown destination, and there start to be more and more people afflicted by this condition who all start to join this flock, and you follow them across America as scientists try to figure out what's causing this, and society kind of starts to fall apart at the same time. So this was a 3.5 rounding down. It was a good book, but it was way too long. As of right now, it's the longest audiobook I've ever listened to at 32 hours-ish. The physical copy has like 800 pages. And I mean, of course, I'm perfectly capable of reading and enjoying long books, but there was a lot of what felt like filler content, just unnecessary, and there were just wordy segments that just like rambled, and in my opinion, definitely could have been edited down or just cut. And I also didn't really enjoy either of the narrators, which kind of sucks when you're reading an audiobook. They're really bad at British accents, and there are multiple characters with British accents in this book, and they're just really bad at it. The mystery of the flock was definitely interesting, and there were some gripping scenes, but I don't think that I can bring myself to listen to the second book, which is even longer. The book was good. It was pretty grim. It wasn't a feel-good, happy book, but I probably would have enjoyed this more if it was more condensed. The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This focuses on two young people named Puck and Sean, and they live on the fictional island of Thisbe in our world, and every November it hosts the Scorpio Races, which is a race where people ride water horses, which are kind of similar to kelpies from mythology, and it's very dangerous, and Puck and Sean both have their own reasons for needing to win this race and the prize money, and this was so beautiful. 5 stars. I find Stiefvater's characters to be some of the most authentically human that I've ever read, even if, because of her style, they aren't really super emotive. They're still just so human to me, the way that she writes them. I fell in love with the story. I am not a horse girl, but you don't have to be to enjoy this. And the water horses, which I believe is pronounced Kapelushka, were so cool. They just straddled the line between horse and sea monster in a really off-putting way. The actual races only take up like less than 20 pages at the end, but the buildup is dramatic and desperate and just full of really great side characters. I love this. This is my 5th book by the author. I read the 4 books of the Raven Cycle. I have yet to give anything I've read by her less than 3 stars. I meant 4 stars, my bad. And this is a really great standalone and a good representation of kind of what her writing is like. And yep, I read this in November. It takes place in November, and a friend of mine apparently reads this book every year with her sisters, so she was really excited when I read it, and it was 5 stars. It was fantastic. A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Lin. This is about a girl named Ning who is on a mission to save her sister's life after she drank poisoned tea on accident. She goes to the capital city to participate in a competition to find the kingdom's greatest Shinongshi, which are masters of the magical art of tea making, for a chance to ask a favor of the princess that Ning plans to use to save her sister. And I had to give this 2 out of 5 stars. This cuts to the chase at the very start, just wasting no time getting you into the story, which felt promising to me because I prefer that. But after the jump start, honestly, I was so bored for most of this book. Aside from a few standout exciting scenes, the insta-love wasn't doing it for me. The competition plot kept getting sidelined by a stagnant plot, and I would occasionally just like not register what was going on as I listened to the audiobook, just in one ear and out the other, but I didn't care that I wasn't getting all the information. The tea magic was kind of cool, but it was underutilized as well, and it was disappointing overall, kind of forgettable. I'll remember how forgettable and boring it was, but I am not going to be continuing the series. Magic, Lies, and Deadly Pies by Misha Popp. This is a magical realism, cozy murder mystery about this girl named Daisy who has the ability to bake magical pies that can influence people. And she also bakes pies for horrible men, like rapists and abusers, that kill them after they eat them. So she uses her powers to help women who are in desperate need. But one day she gets a letter from someone who knows what she can do and threatens to expose her. So she has to figure out who it is and how to stop them before she's found out. And there's also a pie competition subplot. And this was a surprising 5 out of 5 stars. The premise is silly, but this actually has a lot of substance and heart and just great characters. Daisy is bisexual, and the romance all felt just so believable. It was really cute. The pacing was great, and the investigating and sleuthing was engaging to me. I just had a great time with this one. It's a great feminist revenge mystery story, and I am definitely going to be reading future books in the Pies Before Guys series. There's a second book, and the third book is going to be coming out in 2024. And to wrap up the month, I finished Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is an adult urban fantasy that takes place at Yale University in Connecticut, and Ninth House is the name of a secret society that basically keeps the other 8 in check. And these societies do rituals and other occult and supernatural things. And the main character, Alex, is brought into this world very suddenly and winds up trying to solve a murder. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, rounded up from 3.5. This had a really rough start for the first 150 pages. There's a dual timeline, but I don't think it really worked well here. The way it was done, it was too confusing, and I cared more about the POV of another main character named Darlington more than Alex overall, and I wish there was more of him in this book, but there's not. But after the first 150 pages-ish, it did start to pick up and kind of find its footing, and I got very pulled into it. I love supernatural stuff, and this has a very dark tone. There are some things like, I don't know, maybe check trigger warnings if you need that. So the weird start is worth noting and pointing out. Like, I might have DNF'd it if I DNF'd books. I don't, and I'm glad that I didn't, because it did get better as I pushed through, and I do want to read the second book, which also won something for the Goodreads, maybe like best fantasy, something like that. Hellbent, that won an award as well. And those are all of the books that I read in November. Let me know if you've read Fourth Wing and what you think of it. I think it's fine. It was just overhyped. Not bad. It is exactly kind of what I expected from the book. But I love dragons, so I was really excited to read that. I am almost positive that I'm not going to black out my Beat the Backlist challenge, but I'm making a lot of good progress, and next year I had a lot of fun doing the prompts, so I think I am going to do next year's challenge, but only do the 24 prompt version. That'll kind of give me a little bit more flexibility and not make me feel like I must read books that fulfill those prompts. So I can read more new books. And the theme for next year is like bees. It's super cute. I've kind of become obsessed with the bee aesthetic in the last year or two. I got a purse recently that has bees on it, and it's super cute. So yeah, my house is all decorated for Christmas, and I am in the middle of reading A Merry Little Meet Cute, which is a contemporary romance featuring a plus-sized porn star. And I'm like 50 pages in, and I'm enjoying it so far. But yeah, I hope that you guys have a good holiday season and that you're doing well, and I will see you guys in my December wrap-up. Bye!